We are conditioned to believe that an open hand is always a blessing. When someone offers a gift or a favor, the social expectation is simple: accept it and act grateful. Following this script by default has a price. We often invite objects and obligations into our homes that quietly disrupt our peace and compromise our values. We usually evaluate a gift by what it's worth in a store, but every item carries a personal cost that has nothing to do with money. Some things, like a bribe or an expensive relic from a harmful relationship, sit deep in a territory of extreme personal cost. We often ignore that cost just to avoid a few seconds of social awkwardness. We take the item and silence our own internal warning systems just to stay polite. The Apostle Paul suggested a more active approach. Test all things, hold fast what is good. Living this way means your life needs a standard for what is allowed to cross your threshold. To do that, we can look at 4 specific areas to evaluate every favor, object, or opportunity before it enters your environment. Using this kind of discernment provides a necessary boundary. It allows you to keep your internal world secure. We start with the history of the object. This is an evaluation of where a physical item came from and what it represents. In many families, traditions involve passing down relics or jewelry. If an object is tied to occult practices or destructive family rituals, it carries a weight that can affect the atmosphere of your home. In the city of Ephesus, new believers famously discarded their magic books in a public fire. They didn't worry about the resale value or keep them for cultural memory. They understood that you cannot hold on to darkness and expect to live fully in the light. You might feel a similar pressure to keep a compromised inheritance out of a sense of sentimentalism or respect for your grandparents. Preserving family history is valuable, but keeping these specific items allows an ungodly legacy to occupy space in your home today. You can honor your family's memory while simultaneously leaving their spiritual confusion behind. Removing these objects is a physical way to declare who you belong to now. It protects the future of your household. Next, we look at internal signals. This is about identifying things that steal your peace even when there are no obvious red flags. Someone might offer you a business deal or a generous invitation. On paper, the opportunity looks logical and harmless, but you feel an unexplainable heaviness. The Bible speaks of letting God's peace rule in your heart, literally acting like an umpire. When that peace withdraws, it is a signal that you are stepping out of bounds. We often ignore that umpire to avoid an uncomfortable moment. We trade our peace of mind just to please the person offering the gift. We also have to consider emotional anchors, items that tether you to past seasons of pain. These are physical objects that act as a bridge to trauma. It could be jewelry from a relationship that destroyed your self-esteem, or a box of letters from someone who was abusive. You might want to keep the item because it's expensive or rare. Logic tells you it's a waste to get rid of something with high financial value. However, keeping it ensures that your environment stays tied to shame and rejection. Every time you see it, you relive the wounds God has already set you free from. Your capacity to move forward is more valuable than any antique. Healing often requires a physical cleansing of your space, so your mind can finally find rest. The final and most important evaluation involves your integrity. This helps you identify what the Bible calls rewards of iniquity. These are gifts or promotions funded by corruption, fraud, or exploitation. The temptation is that these offers promise a rapid climb in status or wealth. They look like a shortcut to where you want to be. But these aren't gifts, they are hooks. They come with hidden conditions, like demanding your silence or asking you to twist the truth. Accepting illicit gains makes you a spiritual accomplice. Even if you didn't commit the fraud yourself, your provision is now contaminated by it. A modest life with a clear conscience is better than a life of abundance tied to future ruin. True blessings from God enrich your life without adding sorrow to them. Integrity is worth more than any temporary access to circles of power. Learning how to receive is important, but knowing how to reject is a skill that protects your future. If you evaluate every offer based on its origin, your peace, your emotional health, and your integrity, the decision to say no becomes clear. If you are trying to heal, throw away the items that serve as a museum for your past failures. If you are building a career, walk away from any money that asks you to betray your creator. And if you are clearing out your home, Remember that purging compromised items is a sign that you are prioritizing your spiritual health. When you have to decline, do it simply and politely. You can say, "Thank you, but I cannot accept this at this time." Declining a gift is an exercise in personal boundaries. It ensures that your environment remains pure and your walk with God remains powerful.